Recording. And the cute little face pops right back up.
I'm ready now. I'm here to talk to my friends.
Okay, so just so people know, I am Barb King from King Dog Sports Club, and we have a little online club mostly where we talk about different dog sports and how to get involved in different dog sports every month. So this month, Erin is our guest again because she's got an exciting new thing she's doing. But first, we're going to talk about who she is. I think probably everybody here might know who she is, but but we were putting this recording out so other people might not know who she is. So tell us a bit about yourself, Erin.
Yeah, hi, I'm Erin Linus. I live in Quesnel, BC, Canada, and I own and operate the Airment Air Academy, so a dog diving facility here. I'm a Labrador Retriever breeder, so I've got a bunch of dogs and one token beagle in there too. So I've got many labs and the one beagle. I do training online for the Fenzi Dog Sports Academy, and I do training in person through my own business and host dog sport events as well. So just all dogs all the time. Dogs.
So did you grow up with pets? Like, how did you get interested in dogs?
Yes. Yes. I was born into a very, very doggy family. My dad raised labs and then basically was looking for a winter activity to help keep his hunting dogs fit and discovered dog sledding. So then that became sort of the family sport for many years. And I still do dog sledding now with my labs. But yeah, I grew up with dog people in a doggy sort of world. And I didn't originally like set out with a goal to be like in dog business. Actually, there was a brief time when I was younger where I was like, I'm going to be a veterinarian, like every 9-year-old that loves dogs says. And then I went and worked for vet, and I was like, no, I'm not going to be a veterinarian. I'm just going to give them all my money instead. So I opted out of veterinary school and I went to the University of Saskatchewan and studied animal science and then biology, and had virtually no good paying jobs in either industry. So a roundabout way, I ended up doing other stuff to pay my bills, and now I do dog things. So
It's just finding the right place to be. So, so what dog made you get into the world of dog sports?
That's a good question. So the dog sports that I do now, I have to give Nestle credit. So she was my first lab that was kind of all my lab when I decided I was gonna start doing more things with labs and more things on my own. A little chocolate Labrador Retriever, and I started off, I kind of wanted to do some hunting stuff with her. And I got her just about the time that I moved away to go to university, and one of my university friends like totally bullied me into doing agility. She'd already taken a few classes and she's like, you got to do it. And I was like, yeah, it seems like healing over jumps, so that doesn't look too hard. Like, I guess I could try it. And then of course it turned out to be way more fun than that. So I started competing in agility with Nestle. And then kind of got back into some dog sledding stuff around that time, ski joring, that sort of thing. And it kind of spiraled from there. So now I do a lot of dock diving, canicross, occasionally hunt tests. We don't really have any in our area, so it really depends on my schedule and when I can travel for that kind of thing. But agility, obedience, rally, a little bit of nose work, a little bit of all the things. Labs like doing everything, and it turns out that I also like to do a little bit of everything, so we get along.
Yes. So you touched a little bit on, but what are your credentials now for training, judging, hosting?
Yeah, so I'm a Karen Pryor Academy certified training partner. I'm a CaniFit certified leader for Canicross training. I'm a family dog mediator, which is like somebody who helps people understand their pets, a little less training focused, but a little bit more like how to solve problems in other ways. I'm an UpDog certified judge. I'm a CWAG certified judge. I was a North America Diving Dog certified judge. So I've done a little bit of all the things in the various different sports. And now I'm the founder of National Dog Sports. So that's kind of, it's coming full circle from all angles.
So why did you decide to start this organization?
So one thing about where we live is it is very difficult and expensive to bring in judges for events and to train them. And every sport seems to be operating under a different organization. So just when you think you're all pumped up about a certain sport, then the season changes and you're going to change sports. And now you have to register your dog with another league, and you have to find other judges to bring in, or other, it just seemed like it was too hard to get competitor friendly events going in challenging areas. And I figured if I have this problem, I'm sure it happens in other areas too. So from the competitor end, I really want to focus on making sure that competitions make sense to the competitors, that we're not like changing criteria on championships and titles and things last minute or partway through the season. That I personally find that stressful and annoying. So we're trying to look at ways that we can build on things that other organizations have done that we like, but also make improvements that are hard to do for bigger organizations, and specifically starting really small so that we can fine tune all the details before things get out of hand.
Oh, they might be out of hand already.
My helper says they're out of hand.
Yes. So what sports or activities do you offer?
So we're just gearing up for first full season. So on the schedule right now, there are 2 dock diving trials and 1 shed antler hunting event. I'm 99% certain there will be some Canicross events this fall. And we're just sort of in the process of testing. We've got an event we're calling Timed Recall. It's kind of like if you've seen those straight fast lure coursing events, but minus the lure. So for safety reasons, we are trying to run that without the lure, and also give people a little bit more incentive to train that really super fun, exciting recall for their dogs. So that's hopefully going to start up sometime during the summer too, but it's early enough in the season that we got to work out some testing on the rules and such before that can get on the schedule.
Sounds good. So let's start with dock diving, because you're ready to roll on dock diving. Do you want me to
for the
share
most
this?
part, yeah.
Do you want me to share the website? Will that help as we talk about it?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you can go to the dock diving program page, that would be super helpful.
Okay. So then this is the website, and this is how you find dock diving.
All right. So you just want me to talk a little bit about the dock diving trials, Barb?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing you need to know is that I haven't actually got the dock diving rulebook uploaded yet. So if you've got questions about it, you guys could get the inside scoop by asking me about that. So trials and tests are 2 separate things within National Dog Sports. We wanted to have sort of 2 streams that we hope will fit well with most of the sports. It probably won't work with all of the sports that we offer, but definitely for dock diving. Trials will be what you think of when you're thinking of dock diving. Everybody getting together, the music's going, we're competitive, we're trying to do the biggest, fastest, highest jumps that we can get. Those are the trials. And when we start offering tests, they're going to be more skill-based, and you're going to be able to send in videos of your dog performing the skill set for assessment that way. But for the trials, that's what we've got on the schedule right now. And our first one is July 7th to 9th. The entries are actually open already. And you can find those if you click on the little dock diving event schedule link, that's there. However, Barb, if you can scroll down more, I can talk about events.
Okay.
So there are 4 official events within our dock diving trial program. So long jump, this is like the big air or the distance that you think about from other organizations. The dog's jump is measured from the end of the dock to where their tail breaks the plane of the water. So that's they're trying to go as far as they possibly can. So that's the long jump. Something that's a little bit different about our organization is that dogs will need to be 1 year old before they can jump off of the dock in long jump, but we do have a ramp division. So any dog can choose to enter the ramp division, but it's eligible for puppies as young as 6 months. So if you got little guys that are growing, we want to protect their little bones and we want to protect their confidence and everything like that, but we can get them in the pool from the ramp so that they can get started that way. The ramp division will also be open to if there's maybe a dog who's just learning and isn't quite ready to go off the dock, but wants to experience the events, or older dogs who maybe are winding down and getting closer to retirement as well. We will be having up to 2 handlers on the dock, so you can have somebody that can help hold your dog and the other person throw, or however you want to use your 2 handlers. We do permit the dog to wear a harness when they're doing dock diving in National Dog Sports. So it does have to be like a nice snug fitting harness, but if that you feel like you got a little bit more manageable handling with a harness on, you can do that. That's essentially long jump. It's pretty straightforward. So grab jump is what you would think about as like the suspended toy event over the dock. And what's neat about National Dog Sports is we have 2 different heights. So big dogs over 16 inches will be trying to grab a toy that's suspended 2 feet over the dock, and the little guys, the little small breed dogs, it will only be suspended 1 foot. So we're trying to make things a little bit more proportionate for the dogs based on their size. The other neat thing that I hope that handlers will like that will bring a bit of extra strategy is that you can choose your own toy. So if you feel like you've got a toy that your dog loves more than others, that is easier on their teeth, that maybe it's more visible, you can bring that along. It does need to be equipped with its own secure 12-inch strings that can be held in a clip, straps or strings. So that's something that you'll need to probably practice with or get those attached so that you know that they work. But other than that, I'm kind of excited to see what people come up with. We had one dog in practice last night that was working with a Wubba. That's her favorite toy. She only loves Wubbas, but now she can play because that's the one she wants to go for. So we'll see what sort of creative options we have there. I guess with all dock diving organizations, it is known that you can't have food or toys that have creature parts. So there are some limitations. Nothing furry or feathers can be in the pool, and nothing edible. But other than that, we're pretty open to anything that's a safe toy. So the third event is a speed swim event. So the dog will be same thing. You can pick your own toy as long as it's equipped with the proper strings. They'll go start on the dock. They will jump off, go as far as they can, swim. That is a timed event. We are working on making this an electronically timed event so that it's a little bit more accurate, and it will mean that for dogs who have played Hydro Dash, it's going to be pretty similar, but probably a little different start time on the where the dog starts the time. We're also just kind of working on where the divisions will be for that. So that's sort of the hold up on the rule book being published right now, is getting those divisions sorted out. But that's going to be super fun. And then the fourth one is one that you will not have seen as a game in dock diving unless you've been at our pool in the past. We've been working the kinks out of the extremely fun strategic game called Fast Fitch for about the last 4 or 5 years. We've been playing it as an unsanctioned event, and now it will be sanctioned, and people can get their dogs out there to earn titles and set some records with Fast Fetch. So in this particular game, the dog has to make 3 retrieves in quick succession. They can start either on the ramp or on the dock or switch back and forth for each throw. The dog earns points by how far the toy away is when they grab it in the water. They can't actually catch it in the air for this particular game. So the toy has to hit the water, and where the dog grabs the toy in the water, that's their point score. There's divisions based on the points. And then of course you want to go as fast as possible too. So this one, we will be getting some demonstration videos up on the website so you can see it if you haven't played it before, because it's very fun for the people and it involves a surprising amount of skill and strategy. If you really are interested in nerding out on dock diving stuff, that's probably the game for you. However, you could also totally just play it as a Fast and Furious game with no strategy and see how it goes. It's kind of fun that way.
Okay.
If you can you scroll down a little bit more, Barb? So there are different divisions in each of the events. Of course, they're pretty similar to other organizations that you've seen before. So nothing too interesting there. Just note that the small breeds are always scored separately from the larger breed dogs. And then if you want to scroll down a little bit more, we can look at the titles. So veteran dogs are dogs who are roughly 8 years of age and older. This year, dogs born in 2015 and earlier would be the cutoff for veteran dogs. And it's very interesting, but about half the dogs who are already registered in National Dog Sports are veteran dogs. So I think that's pretty exciting that there's so many dogs in great shape that are eager to compete still. When we're, what was I going to say about this one? So, okay, so here's something that will, I think, be exciting for people. We have championship level titles in this event in National Dog Sports. So you will be able to compete in 2 different ways. So if you don't care about championship stuff, that's great. You can accumulate jumps and work towards advanced and expert and specialist level titles just based on the number of jumps that your dog accrues. But if you're interested in pursuing championship level titles, it requires participating in all 4 events, and you're going to need to get win points in each division. So in each sport, in each division to do that. So basically, at a regular event, we already saw sort of the breakdown of the different divisions. Your dog will need to get like a first place at some point in order to secure the win points to do that. And this just adds a little extra competitive element to it. And I think that because there's not really any strict science to the way that divisions are made in dock diving, we try and split them up so that there's, a reasonable amount of dogs in each division, but there's always dogs who are going to be sometimes in one division and sometimes in the other division in different events. There's going to be lots of opportunities to get those win points for dogs who are competing. And that will count towards your championships. And it probably sounds a little confusing, but it is all explained in a little better detail lower down as well. You also will get points towards those championships by competing in the finals. So the long jump finals for different events. So yes, this is our general titling chart for long jump. So every time your dog gets a qualifying score in the long jump event, they'll get 10 points. If they win their division, they'll get two win points, or 5 if they win at finals. And to get their basic titles, it shows you how many points they need in total to do that. So basically, if your dog is consistent, you are going to be racing through those titles. For these other 3 events, it's scored a little differently. We kind of think of those as the specialty events. So grab, jump, speed, swim, and fast fetch. Each qualifying jump earns you 15 points. The division win bonus earns you 2 points. And you need slightly fewer titles because those you're always going to have less opportunities to jump in those events. There's just however the schedule ends up, there's always fewer of them. So you need fewer of them, but it does take a little more training to get those ones too. So that's the interesting part there. And if you scroll down a little more, Barb, we can look at the champion, master champion, and grand champion. So this is where the win points actually come in. You will need points from your jumps and a specific set amount of minimum win points for the champion title too. So for example, if we look at just the basic champion dock diver title, I shouldn't say basic, it's gonna, you're gonna be working for this one, but it's gonna be worth it. So you're gonna need 200 points combined from all 4 events. Each one of those events requires the basic title. So basic, like long jump, basic, fast fetch, each of those 4 things. And then you're gonna need a total of 5 or more win points, which if you win 1 finals in your division, that will get you enough. Or if you win a couple of times in your division throughout the regular ones, you'll get win points there too. And then it just goes up from there. So you will always be able to chase some sort of large, glamorous ribbon and new title if you're interested in keeping going. And as soon as the dog looks like they're getting close to grand champion dock diver, we will figure out what comes after that one, but it's not going to happen this season. So we got ourselves a little time on that one. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So for the dogs with, say, the ramp division, can they go back and forth from ramp to dock, or do they stay in ramp?
They can, but the scores will be separate. So you won't be able to earn championships out of the ramp division because there won't be win points allotted out of that one. But you could win, you could get the other titles like the expert, ramp level, advanced, that sort of thing. Yep. That's a good question.
Cool. Okay, did you have more on dock diving, or should we take questions on dock diving before we go on to the other sports?
Let's take questions if there is any on the dock diving, if there's anybody who's got anything pressing, and then we can.
Okay, I'm going to stop the share because I can't see the chat.
Yeah.
So if you guys want, type in your questions, or if you want to raise your hand and talk instead, whatever works.
Did the point system make sense to everybody? I know you probably need to read it in a little more detail to kind of like figure out how many jumps you need to take. Will you have a cap on the number of grabs that can be done? Yes. Yes. And if it wasn't on that page, I can't remember off the top of my head if I've already published it or not, but there's going to be a cap. I do not love endless jumping in that division. I think the number is maybe 8. I should have looked it up. But the idea is that we want dogs to be able to progress a bit in their turn, but also have enough strategy so that you're coming in at a level that challenges your dog a little bit without going on endlessly and tiring them all out so crazily just from that one event.
Okay, I just looked at this thing and it says grab jump maximum 6 successful grabs total and maximum 3 misses total.
Oh, there you go. So I guess it would be 9 altogether if you used all of them. Yeah. Thanks for looking that up. Any other questions? Having questions?
Everybody's quiet.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it's so complicated. It's not going to be as complicated as you think. I think it's going to take us a little bit to kind of help the rules feel automatic, but I think once we've been doing it for a while, it's going to be kind of cool.
I have another question and I can't type fast enough.
Okay.
So I figured I'd just unmute. I know you said you don't have divisions yet for the speed event, but do you know where the toy is going to be, what distance they will have to swim out to?
Yes, it will be at 37 feet so that we can include 40-foot pools in our league. So,
okay. Yeah. And coming back, do you know yet?
I don't know. I have to get back to you on that, where you're still sort of fine-tuning the electronic timing so that we can hopefully make that at least part of the record process. I realize that at some point there's going to be pools joining in that don't have electronic timing yet, and they'll still be able to play. But as far as official records go, we're going to require electronic timing for records, just because that sort of takes the judge reflex out as a factor that could be influencing scores. But I don't know off the top of my head exactly where that endpoint is going to be.
Well, I guess you got a month to figure it out.
Yeah. We are wildly testing things.
So will the electric,
Yes.
will the electric timing to start it be at the end of the dock?
The electronic timing will be not quite exactly at the end of the dock. It'll be a bit back. So the dogs are not going to get a super long run to go. But we need them to be a little bit, at least a couple feet back from the end to set it off properly. So that those you know how the dogs sometimes like they stop and they hesitate
Yeah.
in Hyderdash, and then are they not going? Are they going? Are they not going? And then they go, and then you're like, ah. So we're trying to eliminate that. A
So
little
they
bit
would break,
extra
they would
skill
break the
fact-
plane.
They break the plane, they gotta go because their time has started.
Their
So we
time has
kind of want to
already
make sure
started.
that point is clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, cool. I love the idea of an electronic timer.
yeah, yeah. I think
Hi,
that it's hi.
Hi. When you're done, I have a question about the ramp jumping again.
Okay, I think we're good on that. Did you have anything else, Allison, about the electronic timing?
Nope, that's good. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Greta.
So as far as the ramp jumping goes, is it just like if they're just wading in? Like, I don't understand exactly how that works.
So we can't really differentiate between dogs who wade in versus dogs who jump in, which is why the division win points won't be able to come into play in the ramp division. But
Mhm.
I'm aware, based on my beginner dogs in training, that there is a significant proportion of dogs who will not go in at all off the ramp. So if your dog goes in from the ramp division, they're going to get a qualifying score in the ramp, in that ramp class. So whether they coast or they jump, that qualifies for that. And that's why it's suitable for like little older dogs or puppies as well too. Just they got
Yeah.
the confidence to go in, they get the cue on that.
Well, yeah, I have my second dog who doesn't want to jump off the platform, but he's happy going in off the ramp. So
There you go. So he could play
it's
in the
nice for
ramp.
him to participate that way. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
Might be a competitive ramp division this year.
I think so. I'm excited because there's a lot of dogs that need more to spend more time, even from a training perspective, to be on the ramp. But we don't want to push them, even though they are really jazzed up to compete. We don't want to push them beyond what they're ready for. And there's lots of dogs like that's where they decide they're happiest from. So we definitely want to include them.
Like Harvey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I have another question.
sure.
As far as, I guess what would be comparable to the air retrieve? What is it called again? Sorry.
That would be the grab jump. Grab jump would be about the same as
So, because you mentioned that we can use our own toys as long as it has a 12-inch long clip on it, like lead on it. Sorry, I'm out walking the
little
dogs.
stringers.
So is there any width that the toy has to be specifically?
Oh, so if you want to how to thread it through a string so that's secure, we don't
Okay.
care how wide your toy is. It's going to be part of your strategy to figure out what works for your.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And for dogs who don't have a preference, we will, of course, at each facility will that they will be able to offer. I've been testing this year for my dogs are those small app bumpers with the strap. Those really something that we will be able to offer if your dog doesn't care otherwise, or the white foam bumpers. I'm not a big fan of the Nerf ones, but some people have dogs who love those ones, so that's an option too. There are some that kind of come pre-designed, so you don't have to be crafty if you don't want to, but if your dog has a preference and you want to try and make that work, you're totally welcome to do.
So Tracy messaged, excuse me, she wants to know if there are other facilities going to be offering any competitions.
At some point there will be. I don't have anybody signed on yet, although we've had a number of other facilities interested. We would like to get through one event at our home base first before we make anything official with any of the other facilities that are looking, so that we can just kind of test all the systems and stuff. But I foresee that it will grow. So whether or not it gets really big, really fast, I'm not convinced that that's likely to happen this year. But I do think that there will be a couple other facilities offering events by the end of the season, and then probably more next year.
Cool.
I have a question, Aaron, around the grab jump.
Yeah.
You in the rules of the explanation that was shown on the screen, it said you can start your dog at any distance.
Yep.
Out. Is there going to be some sort of rule that says that you have to start 2 feet from your average or something along those lines?
No. So I do not love that rule. So we're gonna let you, if your dog likes to have a slow build up every time, you can do that, but we're sort of compensating for that by having the cap on the number of jumps too, right? So hopefully competitors will sort of train so that they know where to bring their dog in and start them, knowing that they only get those 6 successful grabs before their turn is over, and then going from there. Does that make sense, Barry?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I like that much better than you have to start 2 feet and then when you're at championships 1 foot.
Yeah,
Not mentioning any names.
Not mentioning any
No.
names.
See, this is the opportunities that we have to build on things or tweak things that we found displeased us. So that is honestly, just from in the day-to-day trials, like the regular trials, we found that one really hard for the veteran dogs, right? So coming in at the end of the season, they might not be as good as they were at the start of the season and things like that. So your average is very subjective and will not be part of our calculation. So
That's good. It doesn't give your dog a chance to warm up to the event either. You know, if you get a dog who jumps average 23 feet, that's tough.
To start at 22.
It's really tough. And especially not every dog has a facility where they can practice every week, right? So you get some really talented dogs that come in and have just like one really good weekend, and then their average is so high that they can never make another grab for the rest of the season because they have to start too high. Like that's how you lose people from the sport, because it feels it's too difficult for more casual competitors or competitors who don't have access to regular training. And dock diving is kind of supposed to be a sport that everybody can play. So that was definitely a consideration.
Cool. One last question, then I'll stop talking. Somewhere down the road, are you considering having a championship?
I would love to do that. We will look and see how many facilities we can get on board and how we can kind of craft that. But that would be definitely part of the long-term vision.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
I see Peggy has raised her hand, so you can go ahead and unmute and talk.
Peggy, are you there? Do you have a question?
Okay, we can't hear you. And I can't unmute you.
Maybe it was an accidental hand raise. If you figure it out, Peggy, you can pop in. Oh, there she is.
I saw a video.
Yeah, there she is. There.
We
Peggy,
can't hear you.
Have a question? And maybe it might be still kind of logging in or something. Looks like it's kind of cutting in and out.
Yeah. Oh, it says connecting to audio.
That's probably the slow login like we had, Barb.
Yeah. Okay, so you're
Yeah.
still muted, so I'm gonna hit ask to unmute, and then hopefully we can hear you.
Oh, I think.
Oh,
Melissa sharing us this beautiful double rainbow. Look, it just lit up the
Oh.
area. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for that, Melissa. That's a brilliant shot. Chris, back to you.
Wow.
Hi, Peggy.
Hi.
Hi. Did you have a question?
No, I didn't. I was just trying to get into this and I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
hear any volume.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We saw your little hand raised, but sometimes the little bugs kind of do their own thing. So, all right. Any other questions about dock diving? All right. I think everybody knows all the stuffs now, Barb.
okay. Well, let's move on to shed hunting. I guess is your next one that you're planning this summer?
Yeah. Do you want to put that up on the screen too?
Sure.
Actually, hang on. Maybe there's nothing there
I'm
yet.
like,
We can check that first.
well, we'll just-
Website kind of got back burner does this lately, guys. It's gonna be up. Yeah, you probably nothing. Okay, I could tell you about it a little bit though.
Alrighty.
In my brain. Similar to dock diving, we will have two types of competitions. So the trials where you're competing against other dogs in person, looking for multiple antlers under reasonably realistic conditions, especially at the higher levels. And then tests where you're looking at displaying specific skills. So there's, in the Shed Antler program, there's 4 types of, sort of 4 subsets of skills. And in the test program, you'll be able to video your dog demonstrating those skills and send them in and kind of get we call it the skills verified badge is what you would earn for that. Trials will be competing. There are, of course, standard set rules. So your dog will need to find the antler. At the lowest levels, they don't have to retrieve them, but as you progress through the levels, they will need to retrieve the antlers. And speed will be part of it. So, of course, when you're competing against other dogs, the dogs who do it more efficiently will have a faster time. So that's part of that. And it's the dogs seem to really enjoy the searching aspect of antler hunting. And it's interesting because even though antlers are big, you could find reasonably good ways to conceal them so they're not super obvious. But half the fun is getting to retrieve them. And one of the common questions that I have about antler hunting is if you have a nosework dog and you teach them antler hunting, are they going to start retrieving the nosework hides? And I have not found that to be the case. They seem to be very clear on the difference between a little invisible smell and a big antler that is kind of like toy shaped. So if you've already got a dog who understands nosework, teaching them about finding antlers to participate in this is pretty straightforward, and there's not usually any fallout from that. So
cool. So is everybody starting at beginner level?
yes, so you'll progress through the levels in order.
Okay. Do you have an idea yet on like how big of an area, all of that type of thing?
I don't have it all. That part is not in my brain, but
Okay.
it's at the lower levels, it will be like you could use sort of a manicured area, like a lawn kind of thing, because we're just looking to understand that the dogs identify the antler. And as we get through up to the higher levels, the search area will be more where you would find wild antlers, right? So longer grass, kind of shrubby brush. There'll be, some of them won't be directly on the dirt. Some of them will be partly submerged under like leaves or debris or water. So that'll become a little bit more challenging as you get to the higher levels.
Okay. Are they blind hides?
Yes, they are blind hides.
Okay. Just curious, because in NASDA, they're not blind. The judge calls them, and the handler knows where it is, which is its own challenge.
No, they will be blind.
So are you looking at doing that in July or August or
We have a small trial plan for the July 6th, the Thursday evening before our dock diving trial, and it will be just I believe it'll just be the lowest level where the dogs won't have to retrieve it yet. So that would be just a kind of a warm up for people who are brand new to it that want to give their dogs a chance to try and see what they think. So if you guys are planning on coming, get an antler, get a little bit of rack wax. You can order it, I think, on Amazon. You put it on the end because that's going to be what is the attractive smell for them when they're first start searching.
cool?
7:49 p.m.
Yeah. Sounds good. Does anybody have any questions on that? Other than me. Because I know you trained Harvey to do it. Now I'm trying to figure out if he still remembers.
Have you tried it with them yet, Barb?
We did a thing with Alicia a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, but he didn't pick it up. He was
Okay.
alerting on it though. So I'm like, okay, we got to start.
He's got the lower level, and he just needs to refresh on the retrieving part.
Yeah.
Been a
And
few years.
Yeah, he's not scared to pick things up, so it shouldn't be too
No.
hard for him.
It's usually his thing.
Yes. Okay, no questions on that from anybody? I guess we can move on to the next one. Which one do you want to talk next? Canicross?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about
Okay.
Canicross. Okay, so Canicross is a little different than the others because it's everybody participating at once in a race is generally how Canicross works. And I've got some ideas of other things that we can do with the Canicross program, but they won't start up right away. But for what I'm sort of gently leaning towards for the fall, probably early September, mid-September, is to have like a race that's about 2 to 3 kilometers long, and there will be a walking division and a running division. So if you're not a runner, you can still participate. You'll just be capped. You won't be allowed to run. And if you're a runner, you can go whatever speed you want, up to warp speed if you're really fast. So with Canicross, the dog will be in a pulling safe harness, and they must be attached to the human being with a waist belt. And during the race, you will need to have an emergency release device on there. So some sort of snap that you can easily release if you happen to fall or, some sort of emergency. I've never actually seen a Canicross emergency where you wanted to remove yourself from your dog, but it would happen if you weren't ready. So you kind of want to be ready for that. And then basically the dog pulls you, or at the very least moves along ahead of you. The goal really is that they pull you because you move so much faster even at a walk when your dog is pulling you. So that's supposed to be the fun part. Take advantage of all those dogs with questionable leash skills and teach them that. But that's basically, so within the walking division and the running division, there'll be separate races, of course. But that's placement determined within those. And I think we'd have to see what we get for a turnout if there is a need to divide it up further than that. In some Canicross leagues, they'll have different divisions based on the age of the human runner. The dog is sort of irrelevant, but the human runner, like the 90-year-olds don't compete against the 20-year-olds sort of thing. But we need to see what the interest level is before we can figure that part out. So for now, I think we can probably just plan on walkers racing against walkers and runners racing against runner. Oh, Allison's all over the questionable leash skills. That's great. You've got virtual challenges, Tracy. That is kind of what I'm hoping to be able to build into maybe later in the fall when some of the other stuff winds down. But I really love those virtual challenges where you can get out with your dog and map your routes and collect your mileages that way. I actually think that could lend into a testing program for the Canicross so that you could accumulate scores and things that way too. Yeah.
Cool. I see Greta's raised your hand. If you want to talk, go ahead.
Hi, so with the Canicross, which I have Ren doing, Is it okay to walk your other dog at the same time, not hooked up?
In the race, you wouldn't be able to do that, but when you're training, you can do whatever comes naturally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Any other
Cool.
Canicross questions? So something that worries people, if you haven't done Canicross before, is that you think, if I've got a dog who's a wild leash puller, why would I want to strap them to me? And what I want to let you know is, if you have a really well-fitting human Canicross belt, you don't feel out of control, because the dog is pulling kind of from the force comes from bum. So when they pull, you just move a little bit more like agilely. Is that a word? Can we say agilely? Athletically? No. Every step you take is just a little bit longer. You don't feel, it's not the same as when you're holding a leash and they're pulling and you're like, you feel tipping over and they're going to end up dragging you. It's quite nice. And you just need to make sure you fit, you find a belt that fits you comfortably as the human. When we all start out, we usually find whatever is available or something makeshift, and you're like, I'll just try it. And that might work for a little bit, but then you're going to get a really sore back if you don't have a well-fitting Canicross belt, and you're going to feel a little bit out of control. And that's when it gets scary. So if you think you're interested, find somebody local that you can borrow a proper belt from to try it, because that'll actually make a big difference, and set you up for enjoying it. You can decide if you want to get your own stuff, but definitely, yeah.
I'll just add in that I am not a strong walker or runner. And I tried the Canicross a few years ago with the belt, and I was like, holy crap, like this is way easier than like a waist belt or whatever. I'm like, I'm going fast. Well, not that fast, but
It's kind of amazing. Like, Barb, when Tim and I go snowshoeing together, because he's got longer legs and he takes bigger steps. If it's just me and him, after a little while, like, he gets too far ahead of me because I just can't keep up. I got like, but if I am Canicross snowshoeing and he's just being his own self, I can keep up or beat him. Just like, and I'm not running or anything. I'm just getting like a couple extra inches on every step because the dog's doing some of the work, right? And going uphill, that's my favorite part. It's like, okay, dog, work your magic.
I keep trying to convince Ed to try it, but he just won't. So I'm like, whatever. Enjoy being dragged by one dog and dragging the other one.
He is lost.
Yeah. Hey, any other questions, Canicross people? Looks like we're good to move on to the last sport.
Okay, so the last one for now is the timed recall. And this one is just starting to get tested out, and I've already ordered all the ribbons, so it has to happen. But the details are a little fuzzy. So we're going to be setting up straight run tracks where the handler is at one end calling, shaking the dog's favorite toy, like covering themselves in bacon grease, whatever they have to do to become very exciting for the dog to come to them. The dog will be released by a second teammate. So just like in dog diving, you can have two people, and there will be electronic timing to time how fast it takes for the dog to go. Probably in the neighborhood of 100 yards, but we're going to test out a couple different distances just in case we get some wee little guys with little short legs don't want to go 100 yards. I'm very interested to play with that a little bit and see what comes of it. So get out there and start training your recalls with whatever magic reinforcer you've got, because it will be, yeah, Tristan, if you want to come down, we'll do some testing because it will be fun. King Leroy, yeah. If we can keep Leroy pointed in the same direction for 100 yards, he's wicked fast. He can almost run as fast as the lab. It's just like, that's like what, 10 straight seconds of attention.
So is it are you doing sort of divisions based on size or dog age, or?
There will be everything's going to have a veteran division, maybe not Canicross because there's no real advantage there, but for timed recall, we will have a veterans and small dog categories for sure. Yes. Yeah.
Cool. And Nicole, does it need to be a second handler or can dog be in down stay or sit stay?
Your dog can be in a down stay or sit stay. Yep. In fact, I feel like you should get bonus points for that, but I don't know how to work that into the speed calculation. So he'll probably just get to show off a really good stay.
Yes, my dog will not be in a downstay.
If I get Leroy in 100-yard downstay, I automatically win. Okay. Different rules for the German Shepherds. We know they can do it. Oh, Tracy asked, do they have to have any other skills or just release and run? So they don't have to have any other skills. They have to stay on the track and finish at the end. And we all have a fenced in catch area so that you'll have some room to work with. We don't want any dogs like running into a dead stop into their handler or anything, but yes, that will be basically it. Is just a straight, fast run as fast as you can and be as exciting and motivating to your dog to get that super snappy recall.
I'm just in my head. I think Toby's faster than Harvey, probably.
Depends. You have like cheese.
Yeah. Yes, Toby's new thing is whenever she's barking in the yard or whatever, I just say, "Do you want snacks?" And her head just whips around and she runs straight at me.
There you go. Might even be able to have like a skateboard or something for her, Barb.
Yeah.
Come and get it, Toby.
Someone in a wheelchair. Yes. Okay. Anybody else have questions? We're doing pretty good for time here, actually.
So something that we're working towards, and it won't happen. It won't be like something that I will have on there right away, is like a versatility component. So if there are dogs doing many different sports within National Dog Sports, I think that's worth recognizing. That program's just going to take a little bit of time to get sorted out. We got the more urgent seasonal ones to get kind of finished up and rolling first, but
in your spare time.
never fear that I'm always thinking about how it all fits together. So yeah, that will be really fun to be able to recognize dogs who do a lot of things well.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to try a few things with my guys, even though they're getting old and
Yeah, we like our veteran dogs, so we want to make sure we can include them wherever possible.
I'll have to have a vet trip first and see where Toby can go.
Make sure he gets the stamp of approval for sure.
Yes. I feel like people should have more questions, but maybe we've covered everything. If you have more questions later that you think of, or if you're watching the replay, I guess I'll put it up in a few different spots. So just comment there or just message me or Erin and you can ask your questions. Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in July.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We got lots of dogs already entered. We've only had the July dog diving trial open for a few days, and there's already, I think, 28 entries, and I have not entered any of my own dogs in there. So, so I think we're going to have a pretty big full event. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great way to kick off the new league.
Cool. Yeah, we'll have to come out and see if Harvey wants to go in the pool this year.
Yeah. Maybe Toby will be allowed to go off the ramp too.
Yeah. I'll have to email the vet. I don't know.
Okay. Tracy, just send me a message and remind me what you want to edit, and I can do it on my end for you. Allison asked, for your event in August, you think it will fill early or will there be a chance for later entries? I will definitely put you on the potential later entry list. If you can come, Allison, we want you there. So I don't expect to open that one up right away. watch the website so you'll know for sure when it does open, but it's not going to be like in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Yeah, I saw you got your number. You're the furthest east member of National Dog Sports so far. We've got them as far south as Oregon and as far north. I don't remember who's the most northern one. Maybe I think there might be one in Whitehorse. So yeah, we're getting some pretty good reach already.
Cool. Well, yeah, I hope you guys can make it too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, well, I guess looks like we are done for tonight. And thank you all for coming and for bringing questions. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Lucas. Oh, that's a direct message. Sorry. We're looking forward to see you guys in August. And yeah, we will, just looks like people are typing, but I think we're good. We will stop the recording and I can figure out where that is. And yeah,